Well, in other good news, it is 7 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. This is a slight continuation from our July 8th meeting, where we had a really good swearing-in ceremony for our officers. So after the call, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Commissioner Hedlund to lead us in invocation.
Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for another opportunity to serve the town. Lord, we just ask that you help guide us in our decisions for the time that we ask us in Jesus' name.
Amen. All right. First thing on the agenda after the call to order is the approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. All right. We've got a first and a second. Any discussion before we move to vote? All right. Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. And any opposed? All right. That motion carries. So the next thing on the agenda is citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens in attendance or on the phone who would like to make a comment?
And there's no one that's joined with us online so far.
Okay. All right. Hearing none, we'll move along into consent agenda. And the action requested here is to approve the consent agenda as submitted. Do I hear a motion to approve? All right, we've got a first and a second. Any discussion before we move to vote? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And any opposed? That motion carries as well. Number 5 is old business. Item A is to consider awarding a construction contract to State Contracting for the Main Street Improvements Project, C-5604QA. The action requested here is to award and direct town administrator to execute contracts as bid.
I'm so excited. Just waiting for years.
Okay, so we've got a first and a second. Any discussion before we move to vote? And just so everyone knows, I was going to ask Mr. Cordero if he wanted to implement or say anything, but
I'll make a brief comment to that.
it's very brief, because apparently this has to get done right now.
That's right. The bid came in as the bid tabulation indicates in your agenda packet. In the event that you are interested, I can provide you the actual bid details, the forms that the contractor submitted. The complete package is about 125 pages per contractor, so it's about 400 pages of documentation between the 3 bids. So I assume that you would not like to have that in your agenda packet, but if you would like to examine them, you're more than welcome to. However, they have been examined by the town's engineer, Kimley Horn, as the firm we retained, and they have approved the bid as to form. They're all responsive to the solicitations, and they're good in every other aspect, and so the bid is based on the lowest total price for construction. So I asked her. All right.
Can I make one comment?
Yes, sir.
This project started about 6 years ago. I worked with Bob in presenting it at Campo, and it is a cool thing to see this thing happen. For me personally, and I know it is for the town. And Kat, thank you for all your help.
You know, I can't go work, so thank you.
I will do it again. Anyway.
Ms. Klinger, I think you have.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, we just said that the firm we're working with is
Okay.
three-state project.
Good deal. All right, so we've got a first and a second. Is there any additional discussion before we move to vote? Hearing none, all in? Aye. And any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, new business. Item A, consider amendment to interlocal agreement with Franklin County in relation to the Main Street Improvement Project. Just like the mute.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sounds like we're good to go there. So the action requested here is to approve amendment as drafted. Mr. Cordero, did you have anything that you wanted to add to this?
Yes, sir. So my comments on this are the bids for the utilities, so we've got three major scopes of work in this project that are being bundled into one. One of them is the town's portion, which rehabilitates the sidewalks and the railroad crossing here to make them more pedestrian bicycle friendly. That's the town's primary portion. There's also the resurfacing of Main Street, which is normally a DOT project that is being combined into this project that DOT is paying for. And then there's also a third part, which is a replacement of the utility infrastructure that's underneath Main Street, the water and sewer lines. And so with relation to that last aspect of the project, the bid for that scope of work did come in at about $150,000 above what was previously budgeted. It was about $1 million, and for $1.1 million, and they came in at about $1.25 million. And so essentially what this interlocal agreement does is it amends the price section of the agreement we've already executed with the county to stipulate that they will pay for that additional $150,000 increase as a result of the bid. We will approve it this evening, pending your approval, of course, and then the County Board of Commissioners will be taking this matter up, as I understand it from my communications with Ms. Kim Denton, who's the county manager, at their August 2nd meeting. So essentially what I'll do is kind of take these two approvals and put them on a shelf until the August 2nd meeting, in which time the County Board hopefully will approve this additional funding for that scope of work. And then after we have that agreement, then we'll go ahead and issue a notice to proceed and execute a contract with the contracting firm of state contractors.
All right, sounds good. Any questions for Mr. Cordero?
Why do you think the likelihood of the county board approving it?
So I cannot speak to the persuasions of the individual elected officials that sit on that board. I can say that the staff, for sure, and I think generally the county board is very committed to this project, understanding that there is significant savings in that 50% of the work that is needing to be done. A certain part of it is going to be paid for by the federal government, so there's a cost savings to the county there. And then also, if they were to do this work at a future date, there would be additional expenses for the county in the form of tearing up the street, repaving it, things of that nature that in this project they won't have to pay for because we're tearing up the street already. So I have confidence in saying that the county board will recognize that even though it came in a little bit above what we were hoping or the engineer had originally estimated, we are at this time in a very uncertain environment of construction costs, and we don't anticipate that those are going to be going down anytime soon. And so I anticipate that the county board will approve, and I can assure you that the staff supports moving forward just based on those reasons. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, so once again, the action requested here is to approve amendment as drafted. Second. All right, we've got a first and a second. Any discussion before we move to vote? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And any opposed? Motion carries. Item D, presentation of annexation petition 686 Fleming Road, Brian Watts. Madam Clerk, did you want to speak to this?
The annexation petition came in, the day of our last board meeting, which gave me enough time to investigate the ownership of the property. And it's for the acreage on Fleming Road, that we have been discussing with already resolved. We will continue on with the next three items.
I was going to say, I can just kind of read it off, and then if you want to go through, so that was item D. Item C is the resolution directing the clerk to investigate a petition received under General Statutes 168A-31. And then item D would be the presentation of certificate of sufficiency for annexation 686 Fleming Road, Brian Watts. So I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you.
I'm going to the motion for the resolution.
Okay. So under item C, again, the action requested is to approve the resolution. Do I hear a motion to approve? Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we've got a first and a second. Is there any discussion before we move to vote? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And any opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, I'll turn it back over to you.
So with the amount of time that I had, and I knew that I would be directed to investigate, there's only one owner of the property, and he is the one that signed the annexation petition, so the signature is already placed. There's a meets and bounds description of the property that matches the map and survey. So everything needed for the annexation to move forward is in place.
Okay. All right, anything else for right now?
That is it.
Okay, we'll move along into item E, resolution fixing date of public hearing on question of annexation pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes 160A-31. The action requested here is to approve resolution fixing date of public hearing for the August 12th, 2021 meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we've got a first and a second. Any discussion before we move to vote? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And any opposed? Motion carries. Item F, recommendation to Franklin County for ETJ Planning Board member Michael Schulman. I hope I pronounced that correctly. The action requested here is to approve the recommendation. I believe we had a one-page application in our packet. Hopefully everybody had a chance to go through that. Looks like Mr. Schulman has a Bachelor of Architecture from NC State University. So he's got an engineering background of over 25 years. So any questions, comments, concerns over that? All right, hearing none. Again, the action requested here is to approve the recommendation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we've got a first and a second. Any discussion before we move to vote? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Item G is the 2020 Tax Collectors Settlement Report. The action requested here is to adopt resolution approving the settlement with the tax collector for insolvent. Madam Clerk, if you wanted to speak to this, I will yield the floor.
Okay, so this very large, document in your packet covers the year's summary for the 2020 taxes and the taxes explained in my hand. Every month you get a summary report of taxes billed and collected. This report also includes a list of persons still owing both real and personal property taxes for 2020. The second report is the settlement for current taxes, which includes all charges such as billing, interest, penalties, and credits such as payments, releases, and taxes. The third report is a settlement for delinquent taxes for taxes 2004 to 2019. We did get rid of taxes from 1998 to 2003. This also includes charges and credits for all of the delinquent accounts for the previous year's taxes. Included in the credit limits report is the principal amount of taxes determined to be insolvent and allowed for credits by the board. There's a tax list that contains the delinquent personal property taxes that have been due for over 5 years and are owed by either deceased taxpayers, businesses that are no longer in business, or taxpayers that no longer own the personal property that was taxed. These taxes are not liens upon real property, and I have made diligent efforts to collect these taxes by using remedies against personal property and within reason. There's a resolution approving a settlement for the tax collector with insolvent that will need to be adopted. Just because the tax is listed on the insolvent list does not mean that I will not try to collect it, and I actually have collected taxes from the insolvent list through that settlement. It's just that some of these are low enough that at $5, it's not worth
The stamp,
the
really.
stamp, but if I can catch somebody and get the money, I will do that. If you'll, at this point in time, we have collected over 99.5% for both 2020 and 2019 taxes. We are less than 0.5% past due on those days.
That's pretty outstanding. All right, thank you for the description there. So again, the action requested here is to adopt resolution approving the settlement with the tax collector for insolvent.
Second.
All right, we've got a first and a second. Any discussion before we move to vote?
I just want to say that Councilor Curry has always done an amazing job at collecting taxes, literally all the time.
That is a very high recovery rate.
It's sure.
So, all right, any additional discussion before we move to vote? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And any opposed? Motion carries. Item H, order of collection. The action requested here is to approve order of collection. Madam Clerk, do you have anything else that you wanted to add to this?
I have been keeping in contact with Franklin County, and I should have the tax roll early next week. They're working out the last few, errors and corrections that they need to make, and then hopefully early next week. So if I can get it Monday or Tuesday, I should have the tax bill out by the week.
All right, sounds good. All right, so once again, the action requested here is to approve order of collection. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the order of
All right, we've got a first and a second. Any discussion before we move to vote? All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Reports and other business. I just want to say congratulations to all of the kiddos that are representing the town of Youngsville at All-Stars. I know the U18, I believe, is still undefeated and in the winners bracket. The U10s are currently fighting right now. The game actually may be over by now. In the losers bracket, and I believe the U12s are still kind of fighting and scratching too. So proud of those individuals, and hopefully they can bring some hardware back to the town, and we can give them some keys to the city. So I thought Rick was going to be here. I didn't see him, but I want to congratulate Rick and Bridget once again on the ABC store grand opening. It was chaotic, but it was controlled chaos, and they made a lot of money in that first day. So congratulations to those two and to all the board members that had a hand in opening that second location. And finally, Mr. Cordero, congratulations to you on your last meeting with us. I guess last regular meeting, town hall meeting. It has been an honor and privilege. We certainly enjoyed the time spent. You've certainly helped us come a long way in a very short time, and we certainly appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Having said that, I will turn it over to you for the final time.
All right.
I feel like Charlie Gaddy or someone on a newscast. For the final time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Cordero.
All right. So brief update on the Main Street project. I kind of already stated the next steps, and so while we originally had scheduled a notice to proceed being issued on August 2nd, because of the necessity for the county's approval of this additional funding, that's probably going to be closer to the date of your August meeting. So again, we hope that the county will approve the additional funding on August 2nd, and then at your regular August meeting, we should be able to issue a notice to proceed by that time. The Public Works building is doing well. We've had a slight issue in the supply of the roll-up doors for our vehicle maintenance bays. So those supplies, just because of supply chain issues, will not be arriving until mid-August. So as soon as those doors are put on and we can occupy the building, obviously we don't want to put anything in the building necessarily of great value that's highly pilferable, because the building can't be secured without those doors being able to be installed and locked. So that shouldn't affect us. We're still ready to assume responsibility for the trash service as scheduled on the 9th and 10th. By the way, can I get a show of hands for those that received our notifications, either a voicemail or a text message? Okay, excellent.
I did get the email.
All right. So I'm glad that you received that. Just kind of overview. So basically what we've done is we've put a notice in the trash bill, just a blurb about that. We've called and texted and emailed all of our customers that have provided us any of those reach points. And we've also put notice on our Facebook page. We put it on the town website. So we've tried to do everything we can to communicate with individuals about this change. Of course, no transition is completely perfect, so we ask for your patience as we navigate through that process. But I'm highly confident that Mr. Smith, sitting just behind me, and the rest of his team will do an excellent job. So I look forward to that change. On that topic, I also wanted to say thank you to the Public Works team. There was the county has performed some street maintenance work, some repaving work in the general vicinity of downtown, just based on some utilities replacements that have been done, streets have been cut up and repaved, and there was some settling in that pavement. And as part of that work, they closed some streets in this area, and because Republic saw the streets were closed, they didn't service some customers, but Mr. Smith and his team were very responsive in that, they saw the customers getting this, and they said, you know what, Republic can go on and do their thing, we'll just, drive over with a trash truck, and they picked up the trash cans, and they did what they could. So those customers got their first town service a little bit early, but we did receive some great feedback, and so I wanted to reflect credit upon Mr. Smith and his team for doing what we expected them to take care of town residents. So tomorrow we'll be meeting from 3 to 5 p.m., not 2 to 5 p.m. So 3 o'clock tomorrow at Town Hall we'll be meeting to discuss personnel. So I'll just remind you of that. And then again on Monday, this coming Monday, July 19th, from 12 to 5 p.m., we'll also be meeting at Town Hall to discuss personnel. So look forward to those meetings as well. And I have nothing else at this time, sir.
All right. Any questions, comments, concerns for Mr. Cordero? All right. Hearing none, I'll start with Commissioner Redd for your report.
I feel like you guys have covered everything. People are opening. Yep, I'm good. Thank you so much.
All right. Commissioner Heather.
I just want to thank Carrie, she was stocking shelves for several days, good job.
She's actually a pretty good bouncer, too. I saw that firsthand.
I gotta be honest, I've never been to the whole thing, I was shocked when I pulled up and saw all the people there, oh my God.
So Randy actually let me know he was doing the right supervisory thing. He was getting some early morning food for his crew, I think around 6 a.m. And he said when he was there at 6 a.m. there were like 100 to 200 people already in line outside the store, right? Yeah.
But it's a hassle, so them getting there early.
They just wanted to make sure they were in line to be able to get a ticket.
They didn't know. Thomas went at 4:30 in the morning and didn't know it was a raffle until they told everybody to come up front.
Well, at least you got a ticket, though. I mean, I was just saying. So, Commissioner Heather, sorry. Is that it? No, nothing else.
You sure?
So we I would say right now would be appropriate.
I just wanted to let you all know that I'm not running, this November. My service returned, I'm busy with some church stuff, trying to keep all the balls in the air. It's been an honor, and I'm sincere when I say it, an honor and a pleasure to serve this town, and I wish you nothing but the best. I learned a lot, and this was probably one of the best experiences I had in my life. So I just want to thank everybody for their help. I still have a couple more meetings, so don't get me out.
Yeah, we're not with kids, we're not going to take you out of the
I'm a
path.
little bit, but sure. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's been awesome. Thank you so much, Commissioner Heather. Commissioner Williams. All right. Commissioner Branch.
I was going to add on to the trash service transitioning. I'd ask Randy if you notice anything that the community can do to help you do your job better, or any type of communication you want us to get out. We have voices within our communities that we can help. Like if it's something you notice that, hey, people are doing this the wrong way, if you see that, provide feedback. I'll do what I can to spread, word in our development to help them.
We're going to roll out this information next week. But what we have next week, when they start delivering parts, that company is coming in next week to organize. As they start delivering parts, there will be some information sent out then. That's when actually we can sell. So we'll see some there as well as some future information that will probably go out on the.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right. Sounds good. Turn it over to Finance and Ms. Patty Motley. All right. Mr. Rich, with the Fire Department, anything else, anything additional to add from your report?
No, sir. I apologize to the commissioners and I'll be there last meeting. It's my birthday.
Yeah, we sang happy birthday and everything. You weren't here.
You even had a cake.
Thank you, and if any questions, please reach out.
Sounds good. Thank you for that, sir. Parks and Rec, Mr. Andrew Smith is in Garner right now with the All-Stars, so we'll give him a little bit of a break and not heckle him too bad. And I'll turn it over to Planning and Zoning, Ms. Cleveland.
Maybe really like not very possible. I will have to retake the next one, but that's it. I will not be here though, okay, I'm having a revision on my grade system.
All right. Chief Woodley, anything in addition to the report?
That's all right, nothing else.
All right, sounds great. Public Works and Mr. Smith.
Nothing to add to this, sir.
All right, thank you for that. And our esteemed town attorney, Ms. Katie Barber Jones,
She will be joining us momentarily. She's finishing up with a witness during the hearing, but she'll be joining us momentarily.
all right, sounds good. And our town clerk and tax collector, Ms. Hurd, anything else?
We have, one thing that's in your packet. It's an email, and I will forward you the actual email tomorrow morning with the link. But there is a free class for the top 10 primer on planning and zoning for local elected officials. You'll go over the items such as watching the government regulate development, watching judicial meetings. You'll go over updating ordinances and other things like that. Your two teachers are Jim Joyce and Adam Lovelady. I've had classes with them, so Aaron and Phil, they are really good teachers. The only problem with them is they never have enough time. It is an hour, 15-minute class, and it is at 10 a.m., but it is free, and so just click the link tomorrow if you're interested. It'll be just a quick online webinar to go over some of the basic topics that are actually kind of current items for us.
Okay.
And like I said, I'll send that out in the morning.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for that update.
I do have some staged rounds to steal some military phrases, if that's all right.
Sure. Go right ahead.
I just wanted to remind everyone that we're going to be having a town employee cookout on the afternoon of Thursday, July 29th. That will start at 4:30 p.m. Is it going to be here or at Town Hall? The cookout. It'll be at this building. So this building, 4:30 p.m. on Thursday, July 29th. With regard to the trash transition, I think I mentioned this in the past, but I wanted to repeat it anyway, just in case anybody missed it. When individuals receive their new cans, and that's, by the way, going to take place next week on Tuesday to Thursday, that time frame. So Tuesday to Thursday of next week, the manufacturer of those cans is going to be delivering them. That's when you'll actually see them show up in front of your house. When your cart's delivered, there's going to be a sticker on the lid of the can that has your day of service. Because the western portion of town is Monday and the eastern portion will be Tuesday. But if anybody's confused, that sticker will remind the customer when their service day is. The town, so along with the transition, we're going to be adding kind of additional level of service, which is there's a variety of different reasons why a can might not be picked up. You know, there's hazardous materials like a car battery or something in there, or recycling is bagged. Sometimes that's an issue. You're not supposed to bag it for the recycling. What the public works team is going to do is the first couple of times, they're going to collect the can anyway, but they're going to leave a door hanger on the resident's door with an indication of, hey, you know, we picked up your can today, but your trash was bagged, please don't, or your recycling was bagged, please don't bag your recycling moving forward. And that'll just be kind of an extra level of communication between the public works team and the customers to ensure that they're getting the highest level of service. And then I just wanted to welcome Alyssa McLaughlin. She is our new Parks and Rec full-time employee, so she'll be assisting Andrew. She's also at the All-Star Team game right now. And so if you see her around Town Hall or at a Parks and Rec event, feel free to introduce yourself. Or if you see Andrew, you can ask him to introduce you to her. And then Mr. David Gardner joined the Public Works team. He comes to us from the city of Raleigh and their solid waste department, and very, very experienced with solid waste enterprises. And so we look forward to having his experience and his hands on the job, helping us collect trash moving forward. So I want to welcome Mr. Gardner as well. If you see him around, feel free to introduce yourself as well. All right, and that's all I have, sir. If you want, Ms. Barber Jones should be joining us momentarily. We can recess just for about 5 minutes or so, and then I'll let everybody know as soon as she's on the line.
Yeah, that'll work, because, I mean, everybody's going to have to leave the closed session anyway, so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we just want to go ahead and take a quick recess,
All right.
Reconvene in 5.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. I'm so very sorry for the delay.
No problem. So, Mr. Mayor, you could get a motion to go into closed session.
I'll go ahead and bring this back in, from recess, and, obviously, we do need to go into closed session tonight, under North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A3, preservation of attorney-client privilege. I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session. Move to go. Second. We got a first, oh crap.
I've got it noted.
Hold on.
Mr. Mayor is turning on Madam Clerk's recording device so she doesn't discipline him.
Yes, sorry about that. So Emily, when you're listening to this, I forgot to hit the record button. We are now in closed session. We got a first from Commissioner Wiggins and a second from Commissioner Brain. It was tie goes to the runner. So, any discussion before we move to vote? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And any opposed? All right. All right, we're back in open session, and the last thing is to adjourn, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Second. First and a second, any discussion before we move to vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Better not be. We are adjourned.